My child, listen carefully because I want you to understand what is happening before you see the evidence of it. You have been asking me to change your circumstances, but I am beginning somewhere deeper. I am touching the place where you return when the world becomes too loud. I am touching your home, your private space, your thoughts, your rest, and the atmosphere you have learned to live with. You have become so accustomed to carrying pressure that you sometimes mistake heaviness for normal life. You have learned how to smile while something inside you is exhausted. You have learned how to continue working while your heart is asking for rest. You have learned how to enter your own room and still feel as though you have nowhere to breathe. But I see what nobody else sees, and I am not ignoring it. There were moments when you sat alone and could not even find the words to pray. You thought, because you said nothing, nothing was happening. But I heard the prayer inside your silence. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone noticed. I saw the mornings when you got up because responsibilities were waiting, even though your heart wanted to remain in bed. I saw you continue when you had every reason to believe that nothing would change. And now I want you to hear this clearly. The season that taught you how to survive will not be the only season you know. I am teaching you how to live again. Do not expect every change to arrive with noise. Some of the greatest things I do begin quietly. One evening you may sit in the same room where you once cried and realize that the room does not carry the same weight. You may wake one morning and discover that your mind is no longer racing before your feet touch the floor. You may notice that something that once controlled your emotions no longer has the same authority over you. You may walk through your home and suddenly feel gratitude for what you once overlooked. Do not dismiss those moments as insignificant. Sometimes restoration begins with something as simple as breathing deeply and realizing that peace has returned. I am not asking you to pretend that nothing happened. I am not asking you to erase your memories or call painful things good. Some things that happened to you were genuinely wrong. Some people disappointed you. Some promises were broken. Some relationships left wounds that took much longer to heal than anyone understood. But I am teaching you a different way to carry your history. You do not have to carry yesterday as though it owns tomorrow. There are memories you have allowed to become permanent residents in your mind. A conversation ended years ago, but you still hear the words. A betrayal happened long ago, but you still replay the moment. Someone walked away, and part of you has remained standing at the same emotional doorway, wondering why they left. You have asked yourself what you could have done differently. You have blamed yourself for things that were never completely yours to carry. Today, release that weight. Forgiveness does not mean that what happened was acceptable. Forgiveness means you refuse to allow another person's actions to control the rest of your life. You are not saying the wound was small. You are saying the wound will no longer decide your future. Give me what you cannot repair. Give me the conversation you cannot change. Give me the person you cannot control. Give me the debt of justice that has consumed too much of your energy. When you place it in my hands, you do not become weak. You become free. And be careful about what you continue bringing through the doorway of your home. Not every conversation deserves your evening. Not every argument deserves your attention. Not every person deserves unlimited access to your peace. You can love people without allowing every form of negativity to occupy your heart. You can be kind without becoming emotionally exhausted. You can forgive without returning to unhealthy patterns. You can pray for someone without allowing their chaos to become your identity. I want your home to become a place where your soul can breathe. That means you also have a responsibility. Clean what you can clean. Organize what you have neglected. Turn off the noise when you need silence. Stop feeding thoughts that continually produce fear. Be intentional about the words spoken inside your home. Speak gratitude. Speak hope. Speak truth. Pray over your family. Create moments where your attention is not divided by endless distractions. Small acts of obedience can create an environment where peace has room to grow. You have been waiting for me to change everything at once, but I am teaching you to recognize transformation in stages. First, I may change how you respond. Then I may change what you tolerate. Then I may change who has access to you. Then I may give you clarity about a decision you could not understand before. And eventually you will look backward and realize that the greatest miracle was not merely what changed around you. It was what changed inside you. Do not become afraid when old emotions rise. Sometimes healing brings hidden things into the light. A memory may surface. A name may cross your mind. You may suddenly understand why something affected you so deeply. Do not run from it. Bring it to me. You do not have to analyze every wound alone. You do not have to spend another decade trying to understand why someone hurt you. Let me teach you what to keep, what to release, what to learn, and what to leave behind. And when peace begins to return, do not become suspicious of it. You have lived under pressure for so long that peace may initially feel unfamiliar. You may wonder what will go wrong next. You may prepare yourself for another disappointment because disappointment has trained you to expect it. But I am teaching you something new. You do not have to live permanently prepared for disaster. Wisdom is not the same as fear. Caution is not the same as anxiety. You can be responsible and still rest. If these words are speaking directly to your situation, do something simple right now. Comment, "Yes, I receive God's peace," as an expression of faith. Let that comment remind you that you are choosing peace instead of allowing fear to make every decision for you. And stay with me through this entire message, because I want to take you deeper. The peace I am bringing is not only about how you feel tonight, it is about how you will live tomorrow. My child, there is still work I want to do in the places you have kept closed. There are rooms of your heart you have not allowed anyone to enter because you were afraid of being hurt again. But I am not asking you to open those rooms to everyone. I am asking you to open them to me. I do not enter to condemn you. I enter to restore you. I do not expose your wounds to shame you. I bring them into the light so they can finally stop controlling you. So tonight, before you sleep, take a moment and look around your home. Instead of seeing everything that is missing, notice what is still present. Notice the roof over your head. Notice the people you can pray for. Notice the strength that carried you here. Notice the lessons you learned. Notice that you survived days you once thought would destroy you. Then thank me, not because everything is perfect, but because your story is still being written. And now, make a decision. Let your home become a place of peace. Let your words become more intentional. Let your forgiveness become deeper. Let your boundaries become wiser. Let your prayer life become honest again. Do not wait until you feel perfect. Begin with what you have today. If you have been blessed by these words, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this message with someone who needs encouragement. And if you feel happy and blessed by my words, you can support my ministry through the link given below. There is something I want you to understand before you continue, because if you miss this, you may mistake freedom for loss. You have been asking me to bring something new into your life, but sometimes the new cannot be carried by the hands that are still tightly holding the old. You have asked me for peace while holding conversations that keep disturbing your heart. You have asked me for restoration while constantly revisiting what was taken from you. You have asked me for a new beginning while allowing yesterday to speak louder than my promises. Today I am asking you to release what you were never meant to carry forever. I know what happened. I know the names. I know the moments you rarely talk about. I know what someone said when you were already vulnerable. I know what they promised and then failed to do. I know about the person you trusted who disappointed you. I know about the relationship that changed you. I know about the opportunity you thought would finally solve everything and then watched it disappear. I know about the season when you gave your best and received almost nothing in return. You do not have to convince me that it hurt. It hurt. But listen carefully. Pain can explain part of your story without being allowed to control the rest of it. There is a difference between remembering something and remaining imprisoned by it. There is a difference between learning from the past and living inside it. I want you to learn that difference because your future needs the strength you have been spending on yesterday. You have spent too much energy trying to understand why someone treated you badly. You have replayed conversations looking for the sentence that could have changed everything. You have wondered whether you should have stayed, left, spoken, remained silent, trusted, walked away, or tried one more time. You have examined yourself from every direction because you wanted an explanation that would make the pain easier to accept. But some answers will never come from another person. Some doors close without giving you the explanation you wanted. Some people leave without understanding what they destroyed. Some apologies never arrive. And if you make your peace dependent upon receiving an apology, you may give another person control over your heart for years. So release them to me. You do not need to chase justice every morning. You do not need to rehearse the case in your mind every night. You do not need to keep proving that you were hurt. I already know. I saw it when nobody else saw it. I was there when you smiled publicly and broke down privately. Forgiveness is not pretending. Forgiveness is surrender. When you forgive, you are not declaring that the other person was right. You are declaring that you refuse to let what they did become the foundation of your identity. You can say, "What happened was wrong, but it will not determine who I become." You can say, "I was wounded, but I will not become a wounded person forever." You can say, "I lost something, but I have not lost my future." That is freedom. And there is another burden I want you to release, the burden of condemning yourself for things you cannot change. You remember your mistakes too clearly. You remember the words you wish you had never spoken. You remember the opportunities you mishandled. You remember the moments when fear made you act differently than you wanted. You remember people you disappointed. You remember seasons when you were not the person you hoped you would be. But I am not asking you to deny your mistakes. I am asking you to learn from them without worshiping them. Repent where you need to repent. Make things right where you can. Apologize where an apology is necessary. Change what needs to change. Then stop punishing yourself for what you have already surrendered. You cannot walk into a new season while constantly sentencing yourself for an old one. There is a voice that tells you that because you failed once, you will always fail. That because someone rejected you, everyone will reject you. That because one relationship broke, love will always hurt. That because one financial season was difficult, you will never have enough. That because you prayed and waited for a long time, nothing will ever change. Do not accept every thought simply because it appears inside your mind. Some thoughts must be questioned. Some fears must be confronted. Some assumptions must be surrendered. You are not every thought that passes through your mind. You are not your worst day. You are not your greatest mistake. You are not the opinion of someone who misunderstood you. You are not the rejection you experienced. You are not behind because another person's life appears to be moving faster. I am not comparing your journey with anyone else's. Stop measuring your progress against people whose story you cannot see completely. You see their results, but you do not see their private battles. You see their celebration, but you do not see every sacrifice. You see their success, but you do not know what it cost them. Your path is your path. I have not forgotten the years when you were faithful in small things. I have not forgotten the times you helped someone while you were struggling yourself. I have not forgotten the prayers you whispered for people who never knew you were praying. I have not forgotten the kindness nobody thanked you for. Nothing given from a sincere heart is meaningless. But I also want you to learn something practical. Do not continue giving from a place of emptiness simply because you are afraid of disappointing people. There are seasons when love requires giving. There are also seasons when wisdom requires boundaries. You can care without carrying everyone. You can hope without becoming responsible for another person's choices. You can forgive without giving someone unlimited access to you. You can pray for someone while maintaining distance. You can love people and still say no. That is not selfishness. That is stewardship. Guard what I have placed inside you. Guard your peace. Guard your attention. Guard your time. Guard the atmosphere of your home. Because whatever you repeatedly allow into your mind eventually influences your emotions, your decisions, and your relationships. Be careful about what you watch constantly. Be careful about conversations that always leave you anxious. Be careful about people who only appear when they need something, but disappear when you need support. Be careful about constantly consuming voices that teach you to fear everyone. Peace requires intentionality. You cannot fill your mind with chaos all day and expect your heart to become peaceful automatically at night. Choose what strengthens you. Choose what teaches you. Choose what draws you toward wisdom. Choose conversations that produce growth rather than endless conflict. And when you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed, stop. Breathe. Pray. Step away. You do not have to respond immediately to everything. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Sometimes the wisest decision is to wait until your emotions settle. Sometimes you need to sleep before making a decision. Sometimes you need to walk outside and remember that the world is bigger than the problem occupying your mind. Do not allow one difficult moment to become the ruler of your entire day. My child, I am teaching you to recover your strength. You have spent years using your strength to survive. Now I want you to use it to build. Build your faith. Build healthy relationships. Build your skills. Build your home. Build your character. Build something that will remain even when emotions change. The story of the widow and the oil teaches you something important. Do not look only at what you lack. Look at what remains. You may say, I have only a little, but what is the little? Maybe you still have a skill. Maybe you still have an idea. Maybe you still have a relationship worth nurturing. Maybe you still have the ability to learn. Maybe you still have breath in your lungs and another morning ahead. Maybe you still have faith, even if it is smaller than it once was. Do not despise the little. Bring it to me. The beginning does not have to look impressive. A small step taken consistently can change the direction of a life. Clean one room, make one difficult phone call, finish one task, forgive one person, apologize where necessary. Set one healthy boundary. Return to prayer. Open the scriptures. Turn off the distraction. Go to sleep. Instead of continuing the argument in your mind, these things may look small, but small obedience creates strong foundations. And there will come a day when you realize that the person who once needed everyone else's approval is no longer the person standing in your shoes. You will become quieter, not because you have nothing to say, but because you no longer need to prove everything. You will become stronger, not because nothing hurts, but because pain no longer controls every decision. You will become more peaceful, not because life becomes perfect, but because you finally understand where your foundation is. If you agree that it is time to stop carrying what belongs in my hands, comment, I release it, below. Let those words become a personal decision, not merely a comment. Release the resentment, release the shame, release the fear of what people think, release the obsession with what cannot be changed. And then do something practical today. Choose one burden you have been carrying and write it down. Underneath it, write what you can control and what you cannot control. Take responsibility for your part. Surrender what is outside your power and stop spending your emotional energy on what you cannot change. Listen to me carefully, because there are things I have protected you from that you will never know about. You have sometimes looked at your life and wondered why certain doors closed, why certain plans failed, why certain people disappeared, or why situations you feared never became as destructive as you expected. You thought it was coincidence. You thought you simply got lucky. But there are moments when protection looks like an opportunity that never happened, a conversation that ended before it became dangerous, a relationship that faded before it could destroy more of your peace, or a road that closed before you knew where it would lead. You cannot always recognize protection while you are experiencing it. Sometimes you call it disappointment. Sometimes you call it delay. Sometimes you call it rejection. But later, when you can see more clearly, you realize that what you thought was a closed door was actually mercy. I want you to stop believing that everything you lose is punishment. Some things leave because they no longer belong in the life I am building in you. Some connections were appropriate for an earlier season, but cannot accompany you into the next one. Some environments strengthened your survival instincts, but cannot support your peace. Some conversations kept you emotionally attached to a version of yourself that I am asking you to leave behind. This does not mean you must become cold. It means you must become discerning. There is a difference between loving everyone and trusting everyone. There is a difference between forgiving someone and giving them access to every part of your life. There is a difference between being compassionate and allowing someone else's disorder to become the atmosphere of your home. Your home matters. The atmosphere where you sleep matters. The words spoken around your family matter. The things you repeatedly watch, hear, discuss, and entertain matter. What enters your mind does not simply disappear when the screen goes dark. What you repeatedly consume begins shaping your expectations, your emotions, your reactions, and even the way you see other people. So I want you to become intentional. Do not bring every argument home. Do not replay every insult at the dinner table. Do not carry every disappointment from work into the room where your family needs your presence. Do not allow a conversation that happened hours ago to steal the evening you have been given today. There are battles you must leave outside the door. When you enter your home, pause. Take a breath. Thank me. Remember that you have crossed another day. You may not have accomplished everything you wanted, but you are still here. That matters. Then choose what kind of atmosphere you will create. You cannot control every person in your household, but you can control the words you contribute. You cannot force everyone to become peaceful, but you can refuse to add unnecessary fire. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can decide whether fear gets to speak louder than faith. This is where your spiritual maturity will become visible. It is easy to talk about peace when everything is going well. Peace becomes powerful when circumstances give you reasons to panic and you still choose wisdom. I am not telling you that you will never have difficult conversations. You will. I am not telling you that you should ignore problems. You should not. I am telling you to stop confusing chaos with strength. You do not have to shout to be heard. You do not have to respond to every accusation. You do not have to prove yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited into. There will be moments when silence protects your peace better than another explanation ever could. And there will be moments when you must speak clearly. Know the difference. Ask me for discernment. I will teach you. Think about the story of Rahab. She was given an instruction concerning her household. She was told to mark her home and gather the people she loved inside. She did not know every detail of what was coming. She simply acted upon the instruction she had received. There is a lesson here for you. Faith is not always knowing everything. Sometimes faith is doing the next right thing while you still have unanswered questions. You may not know how your family situation will resolve. You may not know where the money will come from. You may not know how a relationship will change. You may not know what opportunity is coming next. But you can pray today. You can speak with wisdom today. You can forgive today. You can make a responsible decision today. You can refuse destructive habits today. You can protect your peace today. You can choose honesty today. Do not demand tomorrow's instructions before obeying today's. There are also things I want you to remove from your environment. Some clutter around you may represent clutter within you. You have kept things because of memories. You have kept objects because you were afraid to let go. You have kept messages, photographs, reminders, and possessions connected to seasons that have already ended. I am not telling you that every memory must disappear. I am telling you to ask yourself whether something is helping you remember with gratitude or keeping you emotionally trapped in what is finished. There is a difference. Sometimes cleaning one corner of your room can become a declaration that you are ready for order again. Sometimes opening a window can remind you that fresh air is possible. Sometimes changing your routine can interrupt a pattern that has been exhausting you. Do not underestimate small acts. A peaceful life is often built through repeated small decisions. And my child, there is another kind of covering I want you to understand. Protection does not mean that nothing difficult will ever happen. It means you are not abandoned when difficulty comes. A protected person can still face storms. A protected household can still experience unexpected problems. A person who trusts me can still walk through uncertainty. The difference is the foundation. When the storm comes, the foundation becomes visible. Remember the two builders. From the outside, both houses appeared complete. Both had walls. Both had roofs. Both looked like homes. Then the storm came. The difference had been hidden beneath the surface. That is what I am doing in you now. I am building beneath the surface. I am strengthening your character. I am teaching you patience. I am teaching you boundaries. I am teaching you discernment. I am teaching you how to wait without becoming bitter. I am teaching you how to receive without becoming proud. I am teaching you how to lose something without believing that you have lost everything. I am teaching you how to succeed without forgetting me. This foundation will matter when the next season arrives, because I do not want to give you a blessing that your character cannot carry. I want to prepare you for what you have been praying for. You have asked for greater opportunity. Then become more responsible with the opportunities already in your hands. You have asked for financial provision. Then learn stewardship with what you already have. You have asked for healthy relationships. Then learn how to communicate honestly and establish wise boundaries. You have asked for peace. Then stop repeatedly inviting chaos into your thoughts. You have asked for spiritual strength. Then build a consistent prayer life even when you do not feel emotional. Faith is not measured only by how strongly you feel. Faith is also demonstrated by what you continue doing when you feel nothing. There will be mornings when prayer feels easy. There will be mornings when it feels difficult. Pray anyway. There will be days when gratitude flows naturally. There will be days when you must search for one reason to be thankful. Find it anyway. There will be moments when you feel strong. There will be moments when you feel weak. Do not condemn yourself for weakness. Come to me in weakness. That is where dependence becomes real. And as you continue walking with me, you will notice something changing in your relationships. Some people will understand the new you. Others will not. Do not force everyone to understand. You do not need permission to grow. You do not need everyone to approve of your boundaries. You do not need to explain every decision to people who have already decided what they think about you. Let your life become your explanation. Let consistency speak. Let peace speak. Let integrity speak. If someone only recognizes you when you are exhausted, available for everything, and afraid to say no, they may struggle when you become healthy. Do not return to dysfunction simply because someone is uncomfortable with your growth. Love them, pray for them, but keep walking. If this message is helping you recognize where you need stronger boundaries and greater wisdom, comment, God, guard my home and my heart. Let that declaration remind you that protection is not only about what comes against you, it is also about what you choose to permit within your life. There is something I want you to hear before this message ends, because I do not want you to leave with only emotion. I want you to leave with a decision. You have asked me many times, when will things finally change? But I want you to understand that restoration does not always begin when circumstances suddenly become different. Sometimes restoration begins when your heart finally stops agreeing with the lie that nothing can change. Sometimes the first evidence of a new season is not something appearing in your hands. It is something disappearing from your heart. The fear begins to lose its voice. The bitterness begins to lose its grip. The shame begins to lose its authority. The need for everyone's approval begins to disappear. And suddenly you realize that you are standing differently. You are breathing differently. You are thinking differently. You are responding differently. That is restoration too. I have been working beneath the surface of your life, in places nobody could see. You wanted me to repair what was visible, but I knew that if I only changed what people could see while leaving the foundation untouched, you would eventually return to the same patterns. So I began deeper. I began with your heart. I began with your thinking. I began with your relationship with me. I began teaching you that your value does not rise and fall according to who stays, who leaves, who praises you, who rejects you, or who recognizes your efforts. You are not valuable because someone finally sees your worth. You are valuable because I already know it. And now I want you to stop looking backward as though everything you lost represents everything you could have become. Some things were lost. Some things ended. Some seasons were painful. But your story did not end there. Think about Isaac and the wells. Wells that had once provided water were filled with dirt. The water had not disappeared. It had been covered. Isaac had to dig again. There are things in your life that feel buried. A dream you stopped believing in. A skill you stopped using. A purpose you abandoned. A relationship that needs honest restoration. A discipline you once practiced. A gift you stopped valuing because nobody applauded it. Do not assume that something covered is something dead. Sometimes it simply needs to be uncovered. That is why I am telling you to dig again. Learn again. Try again. Pray again. Build again. Start again. Not because the past will be repeated, but because the lesson you gained from the past can make the next attempt wiser. You are not starting from zero. You are starting with experience. You know what did not work. You know where you compromised. You know which people you trusted too quickly. You know which habits drained you. You know which decisions brought peace and which ones brought confusion. Use what you learned. Do not waste your pain by refusing to learn from it. And I want you to remember Ruth. She was not standing in a palace when her story began changing. She was working quietly in a field. She was gathering what others had left behind. She was simply being faithful with what was in front of her. She did not know that her ordinary day was connected to a much larger story. You may feel like you are doing ordinary things right now. Going to work, taking care of your family, paying bills, cleaning your home, learning something new, praying quietly, trying again after failure. Do not underestimate ordinary faithfulness. There are seasons when your greatest achievement is simply refusing to quit. You may not see the harvest yet. That does not mean the seed was wasted. Every honest effort matters. Every prayer matters. Every act of integrity matters. Every time you choose patience instead of anger, truth instead of deception, forgiveness instead of revenge, discipline instead of impulse, faith instead of fear, you are building something. And eventually what is being built inside you will become visible outside you. You have also wondered about the people who are leaving. Let me settle this in your heart. Not everyone who walks away is taking your future with them. Some people were connected to an earlier version of you. Some relationships existed because you were both wounded in similar ways. Some people knew how to relate to you when you were insecure, exhausted, or afraid, but they may not know how to relate to you when you become confident, peaceful, and disciplined. Do not chase every person who moves away. Bless them, release them, learn what you needed to learn, and continue. At the same time, do not become so protective that you reject everyone new because someone old hurt you. Healing does not mean building a wall around your heart so high that nobody can ever reach you. Healing means learning how to open the door wisely. You can be discerning without being suspicious. You can be cautious without being fearful. You can have boundaries without becoming bitter. And yes, I can bring new people into your life. People who respect your peace. People who celebrate your growth. People who tell you the truth without trying to destroy you. People who pray for you. People who encourage you. People who do not require you to become smaller so they can feel comfortable. Do not force these relationships. Let them develop naturally. Now hear me concerning provision. Do not allow fear of lack to become the god of your decisions. Be responsible. Work diligently. Plan wisely. Save when you can. Learn. Improve your skills. Ask for help when necessary. Use the opportunities available to you. But do not allow fear to convince you that everything depends entirely on your ability to control the future. You are responsible for today's obedience. You are not responsible for controlling tomorrow. There will be provision you cannot predict. There will be opportunities you did not arrange. There will be people who remember your name in rooms where you are not present. There will be doors that open because you were faithful when nobody was watching. But when provision comes, remember the lesson of the widow and the oil. What you have matters. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not wait until you have everything before you begin. Use what is already in your hands. Your time, your knowledge, your experience, your creativity, your relationships, your faith, your willingness to learn. Start there. And when you receive more, steward more. I am not simply interested in giving you something. I am preparing you to handle it well. This is why I have been strengthening your foundation. Because the blessing must not become another burden. The opportunity must not destroy your character. The increase must not remove your gratitude. The relationship must not replace your dependence upon me. The success must not make you forget the season when you prayed for one small door to open. Remember where you came from. Remember who carried you. Remember the nights when you had nothing but prayer. And now, when something good arrives, do not be ashamed to celebrate it. You do not have to apologize for every good thing that enters your life. Receive with gratitude. Use it wisely. Share when you can. Remain humble and keep me at the center. Now I want you to look at your house again. Not the furniture, not the walls, not the things that need repair. Look at what your home can become. A place where forgiveness is practiced. A place where children hear words of encouragement. A place where family members can rest. A place where prayer is normal. A place where mistakes can be corrected without humiliation. A place where gratitude is spoken. A place where people do not have to perform to be loved. A place where my presence is welcomed. That is what I want to build. And remember what Joshua declared. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Make that more than a sentence. Make it a lifestyle. Let it influence what you watch, what you say, how you spend, how you treat one another, how you handle conflict, how you respond when nobody is watching. Your home does not become peaceful because you put a religious decoration on a wall. It becomes peaceful when the people inside begin practicing truth, forgiveness, patience, responsibility, humility, prayer, and love. That is how peace becomes real. And now, if you have stayed with me through this entire message, I want you to know something important. You are not required to fix your entire life tonight. Take one step. Forgive one thing. Clean one corner. Make one wise decision. Have one honest conversation. Pray one sincere prayer. Set one healthy boundary. Begin one good habit. End one destructive habit. Do not become overwhelmed by the size of the transformation. Focus on the next faithful step. I will meet you there. My child, you have spent enough time believing that your best days are behind you. Do not make that assumption simply because your past contains pain. There are still chapters you have not read. There are conversations you have not had. There are lessons you have not learned. There are people you have not met. There are opportunities you cannot yet see. There are prayers whose answers are still unfolding. Your road is not empty. Your future is not abandoned. Your home is not forgotten. Your prayers are not invisible. Your life is not beyond restoration. And when you walk into the next season, do not demand that everything become perfect before you call it good. Look for progress. Look for peace. Look for wisdom. Look for courage. Look for small doors. Look for renewed strength. Look for the ability to sleep again. Look for the ability to laugh again. Look for the ability to trust wisely again. Look for the ability to say no without guilt. Look for the ability to say yes without fear. Those are signs that something inside you has changed. And when storms come again, and there will always be storms in this life, remember the foundation. You do not need a storm-free life. You need a foundation that can withstand storms. You do not need every answer. You need enough faith to take the next step. You do not need everyone's approval. You need the courage to remain faithful. You do not need to know everything I am doing. You need to trust me with what you cannot see. So open the door. Let me into the rooms you have kept closed. Let me into your fears. Let me into your plans. Let me into your relationships. Let me into your finances. Let me into your memories. Let me into your future. I am not asking for a perfect house. I am asking for an open heart. And when you open that door, remember that I am not coming merely for a visit. I am teaching you how to live with my presence in the ordinary moments of your life. In the kitchen, in the bedroom, at the table, during the difficult conversation, during the quiet morning, during the uncertain season, during the celebration, during the waiting. I want to be present in all of it. If you believe that God can restore what you thought was finished, comment, "I believe God is restoring my life." Do not type those words merely because they sound beautiful. Let them become a commitment to participate in your own restoration through prayer, wisdom, forgiveness, discipline, healthy boundaries, gratitude, and faithful action. If this entire message has blessed you and you want to keep receiving messages like this, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs hope, and support the ministry through the link provided below if you feel blessed by these words. Your support helps this message reach someone who may be sitting alone tonight, wondering whether their story can still change.